Today we're going to go through the programming process for the first choice 1.4 horsepower and 2.7 horsepower variable speed pumps. The first choice variable speed pumps have been upgraded so that the programming interface is the same on all the models. So if you learn to program one, you can program them all. On the inside cover of the user interface, there's a quick start guide. This guide is a simple step-by-step that walks you through how to program the pump, and it covers most of the information in this video. Now, before we start programming, as an interview, the user interface contains two menus, standard settings and custom settings. The standard setting menu allows you to set the time of day, pump prime duration, temperature preference, Celsius or Fahrenheit, remote connection setup, and to reset the pump to factory settings. These pumps come with timers programmed from the factory, so really all you have to do to get the pump working is set the time and let it go. The other options in the standard settings typically do not need to be adjusted, but if you plan to use a remote connection, consult the installation and operation manual in detail and confer with the manufacturer's technical department if needed. In custom settings, you can set up 7 timers with 7 different durations and 7 pump speed. We'll cover how to program both of these menus and also look at the function of each button on the user interface. Now, let's look at the actual programming for the first choice 1.4 and 2.7 variable speed pumps. When the pump is connected to power, but not running, the green power light will be on and the display will read standby, wait for start, or paused. The pump needs to be in standby or paused to begin programming so that the pump is not running. With the pump not running, press the menu enter button to enter the navigation mode. So to program with the pump in standby, press the menu enter button once to view the settings menu. From here, you can press the up or down arrow to view the standard settings and or custom settings, the two menus that I mentioned before. The pump will open to standard settings. Press the menu enter button a second time to enter the standard settings menu and open the time of day screen. In the standard settings, with the time of day showing, press the menu enter button a third time on the time of day screen to edit the hour. When editing the hour, it will flash. Press the up or down buttons to adjust the hour. When the hour is correct, press the menu enter button. Pressing the menu enter button while programming will set the field that you're working on and move to the next field in that screen. Once the hour is correct and you press the menu enter button, the minutes will begin to flash. Repeat the same steps to adjust the minutes. When the minutes is correct, press the menu enter button to set the minutes field. Once the minutes are set, the AM/PM will begin to flash. Repeat the same steps to adjust AM or PM and press the start pause button to return to standard settings. To use the factory set runtimes, press the start pause to return to standby. The factory set runtimes are like this. 8 a.m. The pump will run at 3,450 RPMs for 2 hours. At 10 a.m., the pump will change and run at 1,400 RPMs for 10 hours. Then at 8 p.m., the pump will again change program and run at 2,200 RPMs for 2 more hours. If you wish to adjust the factory settings and instead want to set custom runtimes and speeds, you can do that in the Custom Settings menu. To program the custom settings, with the pump not running, press the menu enter button to enter the navigation mode. Pressing the menu enter button the first time opens the settings menus. From here you can toggle up or down between standard settings and custom settings. The pump opens typically to standard settings, so pressing the up or down to get to custom settings, and then press menu enter again to enter the custom settings menu. This side of the programming is simple. It only has 7 menu timers. Each timer has 3 entries to make. Start time, what time of day you want the pump to come on, duration, how long you want the pump to run, and speed, what speed do you want the pump to operate at. The menu will open to timer 1 of 7, which is already programmed at the factory to start at 8 a.m. Run for a duration of 2 hours at a speed of 3,451 revolutions per minute. To reprogram and adjust these settings, use the up and down buttons to navigate to the setting you wish to change, then press the menu enter button. The setting will begin to flash and can be adjusted using the up or down buttons. When the setting gets to where you want it to, press the menu enter again and move to the next entry. The custom settings menu will allow you to change the factory settings and program up to 7 different timers. Usually the factory settings will be fine for normal operation, but you have the option to customize the pump run times and speeds. Note that setting the duration to 0 on any of the 7 timers will deactivate that particular timer. When finished programming, press the Start Pause button twice to return to normal operation. Now let's go through a brief overview of the user interface, and I'll explain what the function for each button and light is so you know what it does. We'll start with the 2 lights on the interface. The power indicator light is in the lower right. This green light indicates the motor is powered on and functioning. The air indication light is on the lower left. When lit, this red flashing light indicates the motor has an error. You should refer to the Installation and Operation Manual, Fault Conditions section for troubleshooting information. Next, we'll cover the single function buttons. Each of these buttons only does one thing. First is the Speed 1 button. In run mode and standby mode, this button forces override of the pump's program, and the pump runs at default speed 1 until the next programmed speed change, at which time the pump goes back to programmed speed settings. It is a temporary speed override. Speed 1 is 1,350 RPMs, or 40% of maximum. In navigation and input mode, there is no response from this button. Next is Speed 2 button, which functions pretty much exactly the same. In run mode and standby mode, it forces a program override and the pump runs at default speed 2 until the next programmed speed change, at which time the pump goes back to the next programmed setting. It is a temporary speed override. Speed 2 is 1,725 revolutions per minute, or 50% of the pump's maximum flow. Again, in navigation mode and input mode, there is no response from this button. Then comes the Speed 3 button, and I bet you've already figured out what it does, the same thing as the other 2 speed override buttons. When the pump is in run mode or standby mode, the Speed button also forces a program override and the pump runs at default speed 3 until the next programmed speed change. It is a temporary speed override. Speed 3 is 2,760 RPMs, or 80% of the pump maximum. Again, this button does nothing in navigation mode and input mode. So those 3 buttons are all temporary speed overrides, but the speed varies depending on the button you push. And the next pump program change, the pump reverts back to its regular program with each of those buttons. Last on that row is the clean button. This is also a temporary speed override, but it is a little different. It starts a flat 30-minute override of the pump program for cleaning purposes. The pump runs at maximum speed for half an hour, after which the pump returns to programmed speed settings. It is a set time cleaning override. The clean button allows the pump to run at 3,450 revolutions per minute, or 100% of the pump's power, for 30 minutes. In navigation mode and input mode, there's no response from this button. Those are all pretty simple. But these next two buttons are the most simple of all. The up and down buttons, which are located right under the user interface display. These buttons operate in both navigation and input modes. In navigation mode, which means moving around in the menus, use them to scroll up or down to the next or previous screen. In input mode, when you are actually programming, use the appropriate button to increase or decrease the value to the desired setting. Usually it will be flashing and you change it to what you want. So now, the big buttons. The menu enter button works like this. From standby, you press this button to enter navigation mode. Then, in navigation mode, you use it to enter a sub-level or move to input mode. When you are in input mode, you make a change to the programming using the menu enter button to confirm the entry and move back to navigation mode. Last is the start pause button. In navigation mode, use this button to exit a menu and enter standby mode, or return to navigation mode from a sub-menu. In input mode, exit a menu screen and return to navigation mode. In run mode, this button will pause the motor. One last thing. You can lock the keypad to avoid accidental operation or unauthorized programming. With the motor in standby mode, press the menu enter button and hold the button down for 3 seconds. The screen will flash a display that says press the enter key to lock menus for 10 seconds. Press the menu enter button and the display will read menus locked and then return to its normal operation. If the control does not detect a button press within the time frame, the request to lock the keypad is canceled. To unlock the keypad, with the motor in standby mode, press the menu enter button and again hold for 3 seconds. The LCD screen flashes and displays the message, press enter key to unlock menu for 10 seconds. Press the menu enter key to unlock the screen and confirm the operation. The LCD screen displays the message menus unlocked for 2 seconds and returns to normal operation.